Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I'm coming to you with part 3 of my making Hoth Terrain. I've already kind of done a backdrop over here, and what I'm going to be doing in part 3 is I'm going to be building the ion cannon with this giant ball I've got right here. And but before I get started on this part, I have to do the base for what the ion cannon is going to be sitting on, because we can't just put a ball in the middle of the field. So what I've done is I'm using a couple of different types of foam. So I've been normally using a thinner foam like this, and this one is about a half an inch thick or so, but I've got the thicker pink foam right here. This is about twice as thick. And what I'm going to do now, this is, it comes in smaller sheets, is why I bought this. It comes in these big squares. I can do a lot with these. The thinner foam comes in like these giant plywood sized, like 8 feet by 6 feet kind of sheets. So it's more difficult for me to get home. Depending, what I've had to do is like trying to fit everything in my car, because I don't have a truck anymore. I've been having to like break it down in the parking lot so I can fit it, and I don't want to do that right now. So I just wanted some of these sheets, so I ended up getting 2 of them. And what I basically am doing is just taking this guy and cutting it. And now I've already done one, and I've cut right here. Now the problem is that most blades aren't going to go all the way through this. So what you end up having to do is, right here, is basically cut it out and get as deep as you can, and then just kind of break the rest off. So to show you, basically, I'm going to mark it here with a marker, and then try to cut along, kind of mark out the general shape, because I'm going to make this kind of a higher piece, and I'm going to make it tiered so it's big enough that I can actually have characters get on it. So the idea is the ion cannon will end up going over here, and this part over here will be enough room for characters to actually get up and stand on the terrain as well. So that's the general idea, and so I'm gonna kind of show you how I start to cut it here. All right. So basically, you kind of just go in as much as you can. You got to do this kind of in a sawing motion, because if you just try to straight up pull a blade straight across, you're going to get a lot of, like, it's going to bunch a lot. You see, you're going to see these things right here. You're going to see a lot of things like that, which in this case I'm going to be filing it down and sanding it anyway. But if you ever want smooth cuts, if you ever want a smooth piece, you're going to have to do small, slow, deliberate cuts, and that's one of the best ways. You got to really take your time doing it. All right, so I've cut all the way around, and I've gotten deep enough into it. See, I didn't cut all the way through it, so my cuts probably go about just a little more than halfway through. But one of the things that I can do now is I can just kind of, there we go, and there we go, and snap the rest off. And so there we go. Now we've got our piece, and I can put these 2 together. There we go. Now we've got an extra thick piece that is going to be perfect for some terrain. Also, to get you an idea of how tall this is going to be, I'll probably have it waver up so that people can get on it, but this will be like a wall here, and should basically completely block line of sight, at least for smaller figures. Where bigger figures, I'm guessing, will be able to, should be able to shoot over it. However, at this side here, even, where the ball is, rather, that's even going to block, that'll be the tallest part. But lots of this will, the majority of this will probably at least be big enough that figures can't even see over it. So next step is to kind of build some natural curving up of the terrain, because I don't want it to be just a straight block right at least at the one side. I want it to have a natural increase. So I'm using my my little cutter here, my foam cutter, and I'm gonna kind of give this guy a little bit of a natural cut. Make sure you're doing this, I've said this before, but make sure you're doing this in a ventilated area, because this does get a little stinky. See, but we got a nice cut in there. This thing is hot. It'll it'll cut through it pretty good for a little bit until it starts to get, so it starts to cool down. So you might take a few passes at it. Okay. So I'm going to do this all the way down, and then we'll kind of peel the top off. All right, so I've cut through all the way, and you know, kind of jagged, and we're going to try to peel this part off. And there we go. And that's kind of what it looks like there. Now, I mean, for Hoth, like if you painted this brown, it would look like trees. Like cutting in this method, you know, I think it looks naturally like tree bark in certain areas, or like caverns. It's very natural looking. Painting it white is going to look very much like icebergs or you know, permafrost. And so that's kind of the idea there. And you know, and then I'm going to do another one to go on top of this, and I'll probably do a little bit more all the way around the sides, or at least to a certain point, you know, because I do want it to be definitively kind of flat at a certain point, but I'm going to kind of curve it all the way around here, so like the sides, because I don't want it to be perfectly squared on the corners. There we go. Make it look a little bit more natural. Of course, I'm gonna have to do this on the top part also, if that's all right. There we go. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. All right, so I put the other one on top just so I can line it up, and I put a cut roughly about where I'm going to start, and I'm going to try to break this off here. All right, now it's a little shorter than I had originally cut it, and there we've got right there. So now I'm going to cut a little bit more. And, now this one I'm actually starting a little bit farther underneath because of where, you know, where it's hitting. But yeah, so I'm going to do this all the way through. Make it a little more gradual. And then I got to cut the hole for the ion cannon after this. So I'll do this all the way through. All right, so I've cut all the way through, and if you look at the bottom here, I you know, I cut it at all kinds of different angles. And there we go. That's split off really easy. And that, I think, oh, man, that looks great. Look at this. Okay. So, all right, I've lined it up here with the back. I still have to do the backs here and make it curve because it's not perfect right there either. But this is what I've got so far. I'm not worried that there's flat pieces at all because I've got some snow stuff that I'm gonna put down on everything once it's all done, once all the pieces are done, just to iron out any smooth parts right there. Plus I've got some model pieces like a interceptor wing, which is a little too small, but if I break it up into debris or whatever and then cover it with snow and have like just a half a wing sticking out somewhere or whatever, you know, I can do all that stuff and cover it with the snow. But yeah, so I don't mind if there's a flat piece at all. Plus, it makes it easier for pieces to stand on as well. So a flat piece here and there is going to be cool. I'm gonna have definitely gonna have some flat up here, but we are going to cut out a hole for the ball after I smooth out these corners. I'm going to smooth out these corners real quick, and the corners I'm going to try to smooth it with there. I'm holding it in here. I should probably go ahead and glue it first, but I'm being stubborn. I'm not gluing it yet. But yeah, and so I'm going to do a little bit of this, whoa, get off of my there. Look at this thing, it's stuck to me. But yeah, I'm going to do some of this, some of this all around to kind of until I'm satisfied with the way the corners are, and because I kind of want them to be at least a little bit more natural looking, and we can get there. It might take a few passes. but we'll definitely get there. Might have to go all the way around on the top. Yeah, so before I do that, I will probably glue all of these together. Stick some hot glue on there. But first things first, let's get this ball going. Now, one of the things is I'm going to cut enough of a circle that it can rest in there and won't move, but I'm not worried about it being supported all the way because I've got some clay and some other things that I can, you know, put around there if I just see a piece that doesn't look right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a handy dandy little Sharpie here and kind of get a good kind of estimate. Actually, you know what? I want it farther to the side. Let's go here. I'm painting over all of this anyway, so I'm not really too worried. All right, that's it. Man, that's such a good circle. Look at that. Man, I got such good circle skills. This is just to give me a kind of a rough idea of where I'm going to want it. So I'm going to go in and just kind of cut it out. Actually, you know what? I think that's going to be too slow. I think it'd be faster if I went in like so and kind of cut it out like this way. And yeah, I'm going to do it that way, and well, we can do the whole thing right. And then I can use that to smooth it out and add some angles to it if I need to. And that's going to be tricky. Yeah. All right, we'll come back. All right, so I am just using this my little cutter here to cut it at an angle. I picked up the top half. I'm just doing one piece at a time here. I might not have to cut into the bottom half at all yet. So I'm glad I didn't glue it down quite just yet. So it's a little smaller on the bottom there. It's not perfect, but this thing is going to rest in there. See, now we've got our little impact looking crater. Actually, that looks really awesome. Just like that. That could be like, oh, so that's a great, oh, and you can totally save this too, because this can be a terrain piece all by itself. This can totally, and you could even put a little rock on top of it, you know, your stuff like that. It's like, so save all your pieces, man, because you're getting easy terrain pieces like as we go. All right, now that can sit in there. You might want it a little wider than that. Let's see though. That's not half bad. Not half bad. You might want it just a little bit wider. But I think I'm gonna go with that, and then I'll just add a little bit around to the side if I need to later on. So that's that. Now I'm gonna work on gluing this thing together, and then after I do that, I'm gonna even up the sides. All right, so just to glue these together, I'm just basically gonna take a glue gun and glue it. I'm using a high temperature one. Sometimes this can tend to scorch it a little bit, but all right, so it's all glued together now. It's just one big piece, and my next basic task here is just to kind of smooth out the sides. And so I've got my little heating carver stick here, and I'm just going to kind of go over all the sides here just to try to even them out little by little. I'm going to have this little gap between the two of them, but I can always just try to fill that in with some of the snow stuff when I do that later. Or let some paint get in there, and hopefully it won't be as noticeable. The bottom one here is a little bit thicker, but since they're not going to move anymore, now any cuts that I make are going to be, going to be good. So I'm going to go call that all the way around, and I can even out this too. I'm going to do that all the way around the piece. All right, so I've kind of gone all the way around at this point, and I've got it looking nice and rocky and icy. But one of the things I want to do is I want to smooth out over here a little bit more and kind of give this area a little more gradual kind of rise. And kind of represent kind of at least one smooth area on this side where they can go up. And that's gonna kind of be right here, because beyond this is where it starts to get really steep. All right, so now I have a lot of excess stuff, and I wanted to show you guys. Now let me set this down. When I cut these pieces off, I was left, and always, like I said, save your scrap, right? I had this piece up here, and I had this piece up here. While I was looking at these, and like, these would make perfect walls if you just wanted just some ice walls or whatever. But what I don't want is, I don't want to just put an ice wall down and then have that on the other side. So wait a second, why don't I just put these two together? I got a real thick ice wall. All right, I put these two together, and then I'm gonna glue these together and then just kind of smooth out the tops. And I think we're gonna have a nice little big long barricade there. All right, so all I've done is I've glued these two together with a little bit of hot glue from my hot glue gun. And now I'm going to kind of continue some of these lines and make it kind of smoother on each side, because I don't want to really just see a big flat side going up on something that looks kind of like a geyser. And this is real easy. This is a great way to, to basically use two pieces of what would have been scrap and end up with like a really nice piece, because a wall is going to look awesome out here, kind of in the middle of all the ice. And this should first, let me put it up here. And that's the other thing too, is that if it's, if you want to make it shorter than this, like I could even put it on top of this piece to make it longer right there. Because this, so that's another really good thing about this. It's just very flexible, very versatile with what we've got going on here. Okay, and we've got a little bit more here. I'm just going to do these on this side right here, because I don't want to cut too much more out of it. Although a cool thing would be to do is maybe to cut like a C shape out, so that you have like almost like a cave. I might do that on another piece. That would be kind of cool. This way you put your wampa in there, right? What if they're going to do creatures? Do you guys think they're going to do creatures for this game? So you can put like some wampas in there, and some Dianagas, and some Rancors, right? We've got to get a Rancor tamer. I mean, we've got them in Imperial Assault, so it'd be awesome. Okay. All right, look at that now. Now we got ourselves a little wall piece, and I do like it. Let's measure it up to our snow trooper here and see. It is. So he doesn't appear to be able to see over it. Although one of the things we could do is we could cut down this part over here a little bit more, and we could, well, I could do that a lot more and give like half of it, a little bit lower. But I'm reluctant to go too low, because we don't know the final size of how all the minis are going to look. I mean, we got the height of Luke Skywalker, but I don't know how tall all of them are going to be. So this is just, we know that this is pretty close though, so I could probably guesstimate. But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So I think that's going to do it. Right there we go. I think that's going to do it for today. And I think next time we're going to go into making the ball and cutting up the gun portion for the ball. And I'm going to do some painting of all of the rest of this and trying to make it look complete. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're excited as I am about Legion, let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.